Lunchtime News, the last of its kind for this month of August, today being the 31st. My name is Micheal Lukomwa, and this is what we have for you this afternoon. Farmers and district leaders in Napaka are urging government to enhance water harvest technology due to unreliable rainfall leading to poor crop yields in several areas of the district. The situation has pushed many people to resort to charcoal burning as a means of survival.
In that 2 acres, he did the jamunate well. Totally nothing.
The sunshine could not sustain the flowering and also the podding of the few cereals and the grains that we had supplied to the farm.
Farmers have not been able to harvest, mostly in the first season, over 300 kilograms of anything that they planted in their gardens, and that leaves the farmers in dire need of support. As who have been able to plant during that time, especially for season A, many of the farmers were able to plant in the month of April and in the month of May, and all these crops have not been able to we have not been able to see meaningful yields at this moment.
Selling charcoals, or the woman carry firewood. When they sell, when they buy that firewood, so you also buy a can of maize at 5,500.
Is it enough for the family?
It is not enough for the family.
To buy something for the family. I have 4 kids.
Food for work. Yeah, so that when we work in roads also we receive something.
Please push us to the next season where we can manage to begin planting again.
We can be able to have water harvesting technologies to be able to facilitate micro-scale irrigation projects, and then also to support the farmers to be able to bring the animals to benefit from such water sources. This actually will improve.
In more news, Minister for Energy and Mineral Development Ruth Nankabirwa has committed to commissioning all inactive electricity power lines throughout the nation. Nankabirwa was speaking during the official consecration and dedication ceremony of St. Francis Kakureju Church of Uganda in Kakureju Cheshero Sub-County, Kanungu District.
Thousands of faithful congregated at St. Francis Kakureju Church of Uganda in Kanungu District to witness its formal consecration and dedication. In attendance were Minister of Energy and Mineral Development Ruth Nankabirwa, Archbishop Samuel Kazimba Mugalu, district leadership and members of parliament. Minister Nankabirwa pledged to issue legal licenses to artisanal miners in the Kigezi region and address the issue of inactive power lines.
Electricity connected, beginning from the stranded projects, where we have poles with no wires, where we have poles with wires but no electricity. I am going to commission those lines. Don't worry, I have to do it myself. The members of parliament have been inviting me, and I was promising to come, and I will come. And I promised in this newly consecrated church, the baby church, is the newest in Uganda.
Archbishop of Uganda Samuel Kazimba Mugalu applauded the Parliament of Uganda for its unwavering stance on the Homosexuality Act. He also encouraged church members to establish savings schemes for church development.
To consecrate a church which is built by our own people, we must learn to support ourselves, not to keep our values. That's why I'm so grateful to the members of parliament for what they did to ensure now anti-homosexuality act, which became now a law. signed by the President of Uganda.
St. Francis Kakureju Church of Uganda is under the Kinkizi Diocese within the Church of Uganda province. Reporting for UBC, Rebecca Kenyan.
The Uganda National Meteorological Authority is holding a two-day conference to deliberate upon the seasonal rainfall outlook for the period between September and December this year. This discussion aims to enhance climate services to facilitate scenario planning and the development of resilience strategies. The meteorological authorities observed significant climate changes during the past seasons, impacting the accuracy of forecasts, and these alternations sometimes result in rainfall exceeding projected levels, affecting the precision of forecasts.
And this workshop in particular, albeit with bated breath, word is already out there that this year is an El Nino year. And El Nino invokes all kinds of memories in different people's minds. In Uganda in particular, many people associate El Nino with floods. And that has its own implications across the various sectors. So we're all waiting for this outcome, the consensus outlook forecast with bated breath. In the world today, weather and climate extremes, such as tropical cyclones, storm surges, droughts, heat waves, wildfires, among others, are major causes of loss of lives and property. This year alone, in April and May, we had heavy rains, which had devastating impacts in terms of flooding and landslides in 3 districts of Kasese, Mbale, and Rukungiri. We also had loss of lives and destruction of property as a consequence.
Now you've heard about this concept of co-production. We now bring together the different sector players so that we're able to develop a diverse stories that are specific to the sectors. Based on the forecast, what should we do, what measures should we take, or what message should we give the country for purposes of agricultural planning? What should we tell the country, especially in terms of disaster risk management? What should we tell the country in terms of water resources management and energy issues? So that's why this workshop is very important. At the end of this workshop, definitely then, the end result is that we should be having a tailored forecast, a fine-tuned forecast, which has taken into account the input of all the other sector players. As you were told, we have agriculture here, we have health here, we have energy here, we have disaster risk management, which is mainly managed at the office of the Prime Minister. You have the civil society, we have the farmers here. So we will be able now to really put our heads together and give precise advisories that we then go and disseminate to the country so that we prepare the people, the citizens in advance to adapt to the expected forecast and the likely impacts of the forecast.
Easily understand the performance for utilization by our local communities.
Advised to develop domestic financing strategies and revise its expenditure approach as a safeguard against impending challenging economic times. The Chief Executive Officer of the African Agribusiness Incubator Network, Professor Alex Ariho, stressed innovating funding strategies and curbing waste amid economic challenges. He shared this view at a national dialogue by the Ministry of Water and Environment, uniting stakeholders to discuss the need for increased funding in the water and environment sector.
In the national budget allocation for the fiscal year 2023-2024, the Ministry of Water and Environment received an allocation of approximately 1.6 trillion shillings, accounting for only 21% of its annual requirements. This allocation carries a deficit of about 63 billion shillings when compared to the previous fiscal year.
The resources to enable us to do our work and ensure that Uganda is water secure, that you have enough water of adequate quantity for all different uses are limited. Annually, our budget is about 6.7 trillion Uganda shillings, but what we are getting is about 1.6 trillion. So you can imagine about 21% of the money we get is actually not enough.
Due to budget cuts, Ministry of Water and Environment's projects face financial risks. Permanent Secretary Alfred Okidi expressed worries about the impact on government programs.
The infrastructure project that required counterpart funding, the counterpart funding component was availed, so those will continue. Those will continue. The side of environment that is going to be affected, the community tree plantings that we had estimated to really provide about 20 million various tree seedlings to the communities, and restoration of wetlands, but also the code that was meant to provide water for rural areas. We got some reduction in resources.
The Ministry of Water and Environment engaged in discussions with key sector participants and development partners to identify innovative options for financing water, sanitation, hygiene, environmental and climate change projects to align with 2030 agenda.
We'll continue getting money from government through Ministry of Finance. We'll continue looking for money from our development partners, but the issue is, if this money is only constituting 21%, where are you going to get the remaining 79% to be able to do your work? So this dialogue basically is meant to open up space.
During his keynote address, Professor Alex Ariho, a distinguished researcher and environmentalist, underscored the importance of exploring alternative funding sources to ensure consistent and sustainable financing.
How do we narrow down and look at options like tax increment financing? Some countries are able to do that. Climate change funds. Where do we depend from climate change funds only initiated from outside? We can initiate something home. True, we still need international support. We can continue to collaborate with other development partners within and outside to attract resources. Strategic partnerships. But this requires a change in mindset, the way we do things.
After comprehensive discussions, calls to action were made to realize the national aspiration of optimal utilization of water resources by all for the benefit of all.
Let us therefore focus on investment for impact, making sure that we also strike a balance between investing for results and impact versus the common preference for upstream activities.
Available statistics show that as of 2022, about 2.2 billion people worldwide still lack access to clean water. I'm Navka Farida and Dokas Kimono.
In more news, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, has advised all road users to be cautious while on the road to reduce the number of patients who need emergency medical treatment. This was during the handover of the High Fidelity Center for Medical Training aimed at providing specialized emergency medical skills set up by Total Energies at Mulaga Hospital.
Lago Hospital Emergency Ward receives over 100 patients who need emergency care per day, 40 of whom are border victims. To cap these numbers, the emergency training medical facility has been set up at Mulago Hospital to provide more skills to anesthesia. Launching the facility, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, represented by Dr. Charles Oraro, Director Curative Services at the Ministry of Health, says Uganda has improved in providing emergency services.
As I did indicate that progressively as a country, both public and private, we have developed capacity in different areas.
The massive challenges are there, and emergencies are not only for trauma. Emergencies can be malaria, can be diarrhea, can be pneumonia. So the essence is emergencies are non-differentiated. So an emergency is an emergency. What happens when the heart stops can be done and dealt with an experienced personnel. That's what we need to reduce those deaths, and those deaths can be avoided.
Dr. Oraro asked the public to take advantage of this facility to get emergency services.
What we need is to get people to know and build confidence over time to be able to do it, that these services, you can actually access them here at probably even a much more lower cost with better results than even what you get outside the country.
Dr. Rosemary Byanyima, the acting executive director of Mulago National Referral Hospital, says this simulation center will help trainees to have hands-on skills before touching patients.
Trying to train our emergency care team using the facilities available, but when we have a simulation lab, then it helps the trainees to have hands-on, not on real patients, before they go to touch patients. As a training institution, the largest probably in the country, because we offer training sites for many other institutions, we are really very grateful for this kind of facility.
The Fidelity Simulation Center for Emergency Medical Training setup has cost $150,000. Jane Nyiramcha, Andrew Sebira for UBC News.
Back to Mulago. Mulago Hospital has been able to tame cancer infection among children below 1 year by over 75%. The management of the Children's Cancer Ward at the hospital, led by Dr. Peter Mwesigwa, says that previously 1 out of every 5 children with cancer would die before celebrating their first birthday, a situation that has greatly changed as per now. This follows the increased medical and financial support of the Lions Club International to the facility.
We are changing the world together.
Lions Club's international support to hospitals in Uganda is bearing fruit with an increase of survival rate of affected children by over 75%.
How are you? I love seeing your smiles. Fabulous. How are you?
The management of Children's Cancer Ward at Mulago Hospital, led by Dr. Peter Mwesigwa, says there are more chances for children to survive cancer than ever before, following capacity building of medical workers, setting up and equipping of a pharmacy to provide cancer drugs to children.
As I tell people, these kind of conditions, it's like a time bomb. You know, anything can happen. So the sooner they get a transplant, the better. So hopefully.
This was disclosed during the visit of the past international president, the Lions Club's international Brian Sheehan, who was in company of the past international director Phil Nathan, board appointed Dami Elkins, past international director Manoj Shan, the governor Lions of Uganda District 411B, Dr. Stanley Bubikire, and leaders of Ugandan Lions Clubs.
They are so good that eventually the neighboring districts from other countries come in to absorb our services. So if I now put on the other hat as service providers, that is normal.
We can help people that are in need, and today when we come here, it's very emotional, and you see the things that we can do and the more things that we can do. I appreciate the people that are here. I appreciate what they have done. I know it's very hard all the time, but this is what it's all about.
Brian Sheehan, who was seemingly touched by the cancer children's predicament, promised to escalate support to the Children's Cancer Ward. Earlier, Sheehan and his team visited in Zambia Hospital, where Lions Clubs International is building a children's cancer ward and an eye clinic, among others.
We're very, very excited. We've been carrying out outreach camps. We cannot wait to simply change eye care in this area.
Medical workers, led by the hospital's director, Dr. Andrew Sechitoleko, said the facility is going to provide relief to the many cancer patients that flock the hospital.
So the partnership with Lions Club International has made it possible for the hospital because it has done the investment onto the hospital, and the hospital will be responsible for running the project moving into the future.
Brian Shihan has been in Uganda for a 2-day visit to check on the Lions Clubs of Uganda District 411B community projects funded by the Lions Clubs International.
And how passionate you are and how important this is, and that's why we're Lions. And the cool thing about our foundation, you may or may not know, is whenever we give $1 to our foundation, that whole dollar goes out to people in need. We don't have any overhead or anything else.
Sudat Kaye and Deo Habimana, UBC News.
And I know you're Rotary.
And at this point, we'll take a short break. We have more in return. Please keep it with us.
Amazi nsobola okusasula ne momo no ha hey nsobola okusasula ne momo ha
yino merchant code yaffe
kirungi
sebo meka
ebiri nyabo nsobola okusasula ne momo
bambi nedda
ha baby tuve wano
Mukibango okusasula ne MTN Momo kigirako emigaso mingi n'egisinga keri buli omu tekikola makulu okubanga tugirina.
Hello, nkimye rent.
Nsobola okusasula ne Momo?
Yes, osobola.
Sasula obagula ne MTN Momo olwo tukuddize ssente oleweeki ya bwerere kozesa Momo app owanyiga *155*3#. Juku.
Yo.
Hawa Chico. Chick the shopping man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real.
I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving. Juku. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are,
but you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do? Just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better.
PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Uncle, you should see London.
Oh, my boy. This has been 5 years. You should see Uganda.
Yes. Uncle Marcus, this is my former school.
See, soon there will be more than 1 million children learning like this for free.
This is impressive. Do you even have connection out here?
Well, we have 100% 4G countrywide.
Okay.
We even have 5G too.
That's approximately 700 billion Uganda shillings in tax, making Airtel one of the largest corporate income taxpayers over the last 5 years, helping build a better Uganda.
Today, your son saw our new Uganda.
Thank you, Uganda, for imagining it with us and making us the fastest growing telecom in the country over the past 5 years.
Hello, Mom. How did you sleep? How is Salongo? Oh, Mommy, how is Grandma? And Simba, the dog, yeah, the funny one.
Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel Bona voice bundles. Dial *100*1#. Select Call Bona to choose bundles from as low as 1,000 shillings from daily, weekly, monthly, or bundles that don't expire. Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel. A reason to imagine.
Here is the 2023 musical launch of the year. 16th of September 2023, Kololo Ceremonial Grounds will be the only place to be, as the whole of Uganda will gather to witness the Museveni Awoma musical launch by Eman Sereko, also known as Munamasaka. Don't miss all your artists, comedians, stage and movie actors, members of parliament, ministers, leaders at different levels, led by the Right Honorable Premier Robin Nabanja. The chief guest of the day will be the one and only Sabarwanyi Jajamwami, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. All at a free entry at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds on the 16th of September 2023. Do not miss.
Payamazi. Nsobola okusasula ne momo? No. Ha. Hey, nsobola okusasula ne momo? Ha.
Yino merchant code yaffe.
Oh, kirungi.
Sebo meka?
Ebiri. Nyabo, nsobola okusasula ne momo?
Bambi nedda.
Ha. Baby, tuve wano.
Mukibango okusasula ne MTN Momo kigirako emigaso mingi n'egisingako eri buli omu tekikola makulu okubanga tugirina.
Hello, Micheal rent.
Nsobola okusasula ne momo? Ha.
Yes, osobola.
Sasula obagula ne MTN Momo olwo tukuddize ssente oleweeki ya bwereere. Kozesa Momo app owanyiga *155*3#.
And we now talk business in our lunchtime news. Uganda is hosting a 2-day East African Trade and Investment Summit to discuss and review challenges that have been affecting regional trade and the way forward. The event that is going to kick off tomorrow is expected to generate deliberation on digital trade and innovation, tax harmonization, supporting of SMEs as a recovery agenda. The Executive Director, East African Business Council, John Bosco Kalisa, says that this is going to accelerate debate on policies that will enhance economic recovery and positioning of the region for a major industrialization region.
The affiliation of the National Social Security Fund with the International Social Security Association is projected towards the realization of the fund's strategic ambitions of extended inclusion. It is to enhance excellence through professional guidelines and harmonize international social security agenda.
There is no better time for the East African Social Security Funds to work together to bring more and more people into the social security net, because we are facing similar challenges. For instance, our population is young with a different mindset. How do we convince these young people that saving willingly for the long term is worthwhile?
NSSF acquired a vote of hosting the Eastern Central African Region Liaison Office, and Faith Acheng crowned Liaison Officer.
So officially, NSSF Uganda is now the host of the Regional Liaison Office, and Faith Acheng is the new Liaison Officer.
We welcome the challenge to advance the social security excellence in terms of the actual concept of social security, but also the context and the competences that will be required to extend the frontiers of social security as we know it.
The fund is to leverage on this position to embrace modern social security technologies in the dynamic human resource management environment.
In addition to that, is going to be policy that governs and controls and manages all activities within the digital superhighway. The second point is the development of entrepreneurial skills, digital skills. Why? Because everything we are doing is embedded in digital and analytics to guide decision making.
While crowning the region liaison officer, the Secretary General of the Association, Marcelo Cayetano, commits on the harmonization of social security policies towards desirable standard.
Is that the legislation can be improved in order to give access to people, because there are some countries, for example, in which some groups of the population are excluded not by purpose, but the inclusion of social security is just for some specific groups of people. So this is the very, very first step, to have the law, to have legal instruments in which guarantees coverage to everybody.
The State Minister for Elder Persons, Gidudu Mafabi, challenged fund managers to adopt short and long-term innovations, attracting informal sector for sustainability and fund expansion.
As government, we shall have to sensitize the employers in the informal sector, and show them the merits of having social security funds saved for their employees. And the employees also to get organized within the areas where they work, and also form association of many informal sectors, and put pressure on their employees to make sure that yes, they accept this as a way and a part of the package of employment.
The International Social Security Association is the world's leading international organization for social security institutions, government departments and agencies, and it promotes excellence in social security administration through professional guidelines and enable its members to develop dynamic social security systems and policies throughout the world. Abdul Nasser Lowama and Rogers Komagum for UBC.
General Bliss Oligui Nguema, the leader of Gabon's esteemed Republican Guard responsible for the president's security, has been designated as the country's transitional leader. In the world of sport, Uganda started the 2023 Africa and Oceania Pentathlon Championships on a celebratory note with a bronze medal. The championship is underway in Cairo, Egypt, and runs till Friday.
Ndeje University students Masho Miro and Rashida Najuma have started Uganda's push for success at the Africa and Oceania Pentathlon Championships in Egypt with a bronze medal in the mixed relays event. The Ugandans have finished behind Egypt and South Africa that finished first and second respectively. Pentathlon is a sport that consists of the 5 disciplines of swimming, running, fencing, shooting, and horse riding. Horse riding will, after the 2024 Olympics, be replaced by obstacle racing. The Ugandan pair started with fencing, then 100 meters swimming before the laser run ended their morning session. During the evening session, each of them ran the 600 meters thrice and also engaged in shooting twice with a sights of hitting a target of 5.
She's also a swimmer and we were able to do fencing, which was also my first time experiencing it. She did it in March and at the Pentathlon World Cup, but it was good for me to also have a debut as well and try to fence well and get a few wins. We got a few wins for Uganda in the fencing. Then in the swimming, we came third overall and were able to create that distance. And also in the shooting, we got 11 out of 20 points and we were able to run a good distance as well. So all those disciplines combined helped enable us to get those maximum points.
The 2 Ugandan representatives who are Ndeje University students go again in the singles category. The championship attracted several countries including Gambia, Burkina Faso, Mali, Australia, and New Zealand. John Barnes, Sentamu, UBC News.
With that, we come to the end of all we had for you this afternoon. But like I always say, we are still at work and we'll give you news continuously the whole day. Luganda, Kiswahili, and I'll be here myself for news tonight. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Micheal Lukomwa. Let me catch you then. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Bye-bye.